Welcome back to the Lemon and Healing Podcast.
Where laughter meets inner peace.
We're your host, Shaka.
And I'm Kiana.
And we just want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of your favorite podcast, Lemon and Healing. We want to thank everyone for subscribing. And if you have not subscribed yet, ensure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your feedbacks, your question. We really appreciate it. So today we have a nice juicy topic for you. What are we talking about?
So today we're talking about burnout, and it's a common phrase used amongst us millennials. We're always talking about how much we burn out. So today we want to talk about it because I feel like a lot of people experience burnout without actually knowing what it is. So today we want to talk about this. So what is burnout? Burnout is when you feel completely worn out, right? You're stressed for a long period of time. That could be due to your work. That could be due to your personal life, school, whatever. You're basically unmotivated. You're unable to keep up with everyday demands. You're just tired. Life becomes a rut. You wake up, you get ready for work, you come home, you cook dinner. If you have kids, you help them with homework. That cycle repeats over and over and over. Mm-hmm. And this can lead to a feeling of helplessness, hopelessness, and negativity. You're just tired. Have you ever wondered sometimes you're just tired? You feel so unmotivated. Even the things that sparked joy previously, all of a sudden becomes a chore to you, and you can have physical symptoms as well, such as headaches, muscle pains in the body, trouble sleeping, because once again, you're just a constant blah, you're just tired, So it's important to notice the signs of burnout because that will help you to take action to prevent it, right? So what is some example of day-to-day burnout?
That's a good question. I know you mentioned millennials.
We always talk about being burnout.
And I feel that it's good. We're millennials, so obviously I think that we're a bit biased with, the things that we do or whatever, but I think that we're revolutionary. I don't care what anybody else says, because people have been experiencing burnout for years, right? Exactly. And they didn't even have a term for it. Mm-hmm. And, I read a book about burnout, and millennials is one of the group of people who really started to talk about it and try to do something about it. So I think that's really good. And, I learned about what burnout could look like, because you would experience burnout and you don't know, what exactly it is. So it's this is a great question. What's day-to-day, burnout look like? Now, work pressure, right? You're feeling tired because, you're constantly working, and obviously we have to work, we have to make money, so obviously we can't say, work causes burnout. No, that's not what we're saying, but the pressures of work can cause burnout, right? Because you're tired, it's too demanding of you. So you feel like you're running on fumes, you don't have any time to relax or enjoy life.
Yes.
Another example is feeling overwhelmed, right? So sometimes you have a lot to do, but when it starts to feel like it's too much to do, and it could be anything, whether it's household chores or even social events, anything going out could feel like a huge burden.
Yes.
That's definitely a sign of burnout, because now these are things you do all the time, and now it becomes such a huge burden to you. So it feels like too much for you.
Yeah.
Right? Lack of joy. Right? Losing joy over the things that you like to do, like liming with your friends, even listening to music, going out. Basically, anything that used to bring you joy don't bring you much joy as before. Yeah. So that's definitely one of the things that burnout. Exhaustion, of course. People always say, you just wake up from a full night's rest.
Oh.
And then you're like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Usually that tired is not because you didn't sleep. Usually it's because you're burnt out. You're tired of what's happening.
There was a post I remember reading a while back that there are different types of tired. There's physical tired, where you're exhausted physically, emotionally tired, mentally tired, spiritually tired. So whenever you're burnt out, I feel like it goes to show that maybe you're physically energized, but there are other parts of you that are actually tired.
Yeah. So usually when you wake up, you're like, I'm so tired. It's not about I'm tired because I didn't have a good night's sleep, or I'm physically tired. Because you can tell the difference between physically tired. You worked out all day, you did something. You can tell your body needs rest. But that tired is like your
Yeah.
brain. It's like your brain is tired. It's tired of the constant exhaustion. Like your day is, like you're dragging yourself throughout the day, right? And this can manifest to, physical symptoms as well, right? Like headaches and muscle pain, or indeed trouble sleeping. Right, your body is not going to be. Your body can be as tired as your mind, because eventually you get to that place.
Yeah, that is so true. Because like when you're, another thing that it can manifest itself as being emotionally drained, And I feel like with everything going on in life, since the pandemic, I feel like people have been in a constant state of burnout, where you're just constantly tired, emotionally drained. And I've heard that from so many people that not. Like,
Okay.
the demands of life, the demands of a social life, demands of your jobs. And again, if you have kids, that's an additional, not to say your kids are not a blessing, but that's another place you need to show up for. And that can become emotional draining at times, Small annoyances that you would normally overlook, getting on your nerves. Sometimes your behavior scratchety, like, so every little thing annoying you, like every little thing, things that you could have easily brushed off, all of a sudden it's just like a huge annoyance. That's a sign that you're emotionally drained, Decreased productivity, like you're feeling it's hard to concentrate. And we've all been there, especially at work. Like, you're just once again tired. Your mind is just like can't focus on like one task at a time, and then you're just like distracted. Sometimes some people have like fogginess, brain fogginess, where you forget stuff. You're so forgetful. And then obviously if you're feeling burnt out, naturally you're going to want to withdraw yourself from like your friends. You start avoiding people, social gatherings, because it takes too much energy to socialize. And if you don't have energy, you want to be left alone. And I've definitely had moments like that, like just give me my good book and I'm gonna be in my corner and just re-energize. It actually helps re-energize me.
Yeah, exactly, which is great.
And then also becoming like pessimistic, like everything, like, you become like negative about, you have like a negative outlook about like your future, about what's happening. And it's just, nothing is positive, and it's hard to see the positive side of things.
Yeah.
And then, routine struggle, when I know personally, whenever I am burnout, I usually tend to fall off my routine. I'm not doing the things I know I should do to help me feel better. So I'm stop doing those things, even though if I do them, it probably will help me get out of this rut. But when you start, not doing your basic routine, maybe you stop exercising, you're not cooking breakfast, you're not cooking at all, you Uber Eats in or whatever, eating out the car in the shop. Like, those are all signs that you're experiencing burnout.
It's true.
So why do we want to talk about burnout?
Okay, that's a good question. And be like, I know at the beginning I said it's a juicy topic, and then we started talking about burnout, and I was like, how is that juicy? But I feel like this is so important, especially in or Caribbean or Caribbean living in America, like, because we don't focus on mental, emotional, we focus so much on the physical. So unless you physically could get to work or physically cook or physically do something, we don't focus on it at all. So that's why we want to talk about burnout. We want to talk about what this can cause for you, because it's real. Dealing with this is real. This is not something that is made up. Right? This is real. You can have burnout. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because it eventually affects your health, right? Serious physical health, mental health issue, fatigue, depression, anxiety, all of those things, can be caused by burnout, right? It's just very important that we acknowledge it. That's the first thing we want to do, like acknowledge that this thing is happening, this thing is real, and what can we do to fix it. Also, productivity, right? You want to know, why I feel like doing this thing anymore. First you were so motivated. First you were so, you let's say you're starting a business, or you're starting a career or a new career, or even having kids or being married. You're not excited about it anymore. Why? Right? You're not excited about these things because when you're burnt out, you struggle to want to do these things. You struggle to even try to complete your basic tasks. So your quality of life is decreased because you're no longer productive, right? And sometimes you're wondering, I don't feel like doing this thing no more. It's
Yeah.
because you're burnt out, right? So that's why we want to do this topic so people can understand, like, like there's a reason for why you're feeling this way.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like Shaka said, like a lot of times, even in your relationship, it suffers because if you're burnt out,
Yeah, that's
you
good.
can't interact with like your family and friends
That's
because
good.
sometimes you're just irritated with everyone. I don't know if sometimes you have those feelings. I definitely do, where everyone is getting on your last nerves, and it's just like I can't deal with people today because everyone is getting on my nerves, and and that could be a sign that you're burnout. You need to, regroup and all of that. So that can definitely cause a wear and tear on your relationship, especially if if you lash out at people because you're burnout, and then they're feeling offended and being
That's so
bothered
true.
by that. So that's all those things can happen, and then like just the quality of life. Prolonged burnout can diminish your overall quality of life, like seriously, like not finding joy in like activities and like hobbies. If that happens like continuously, that can definitely take a toll on your mental health, on your overall health, and even like your relationship can suffer big time. So these are things that burnout happens, but we need to be aware of it so that when we know we see it coming, we can start putting measures in place to counteract it. Because I feel like so many of us are experiencing burnout without knowing what it is.
Yeah, we just think
And
it's life.
Yeah, we think it's just life. And we hope this episode will definitely bring awareness, because a lot of times knowing gives you power, because it allows you to take control of your life in a way that you would not have otherwise done so, because the lack of knowledge definitely does not help us. So Shaka, give us like an experience of burnout. So
I mean, that I've experienced.
yeah.
Well, I think I've experienced, burnout in different places in my life, different times in my life. I know one time I was, for a long time, I was working 2 jobs. And then I would, come home and still cook and clean. And that was a lot for me. I didn't understand. I felt frustrated. I felt like, for me, it kind of creates a sense of like hopelessness, because you're like, when is this going to end? You go to one job, to another job, and then you come home to another job, and then you wake up and then you do it again.
Yeah.
Right? Over and over and over and over. And, that was very, very frustrating to me. Like, I think living in the Caribbean, especially, I don't know how a lot of other Caribbean, but I'm assuming it's the same. But like in Guyana, you have at least 30 days vacation a month. Usually this is it, or more. And I was a teacher. So, that 2 months of vacation was amazing, and that, that really helped me. But then I also did another job, but that job wasn't for too long. So I think that helped me. But when I was in that constant state of working both jobs, that definitely affected me, because I was just doing the same thing over and over. But, having that break was good. Now moving to America, you don't have that. You get a little, what they give you, like a little 2 weeks, 14 days if you're lucky. Some companies give you 10 days. Here, to me, I think you experience even more burnout, because you literally have to work. You have to put in the exact 8 hours, 9 hours, whatever they're asking you for. You got to clock in on time, and then you got to do that routine over and over and over. So that routine, to me, especially not having that break, even though I felt that back home, I was a teacher, so I had a 2 months vacation. But then moving to America, it was just constant of, work, and then your 2 weeks vacation, and then the 2 weeks vacation is not even a lot. So because you gotta, if you're sick as a company, if you're sick, you gotta take that out of the 2 weeks for a whole entire year, right? So I think, to me, especially in America, you experience way more burnout because you don't have that opportunity to have like good full vacation, and that sucks.
Yeah, they really do suck. And yeah, definitely for me, in terms of burnout, I've experienced burnout when I would say just the monotony of life, like going through the same motions day after day. You wake up, you go to work, you do whatever. And just, getting exhausted with that cycle of just doing the same thing over and over and over. Because, at that point, some people, not to say routine is bad. I love a good routine.
Facts. A routine that I like.
Yeah, a routine that I like. So for me, what I've had to do to like break out of that monotony is to start trying new things, like developing hobbies. A lot of times as kids, we're doing different things.
That's true.
That sparks our joy and our interest. I'm a creative person by nature. So for me, I feel like I probably feel that more because I need to be able to create something in order to give myself joy. So
that's good.
My burnout is the monotony. So in order to feel more or to feel less burnout, I started like implementing
something new.
Yeah, implementing doing things like trying new hobbies. Like one time I went to a pottery class because I always wanted to try it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try a pottery class, and it was so much fun to get out of that routine. So I feel like sometimes, yes, like Shaka said, it's the stress of like the jobs and not having a break, but like. And that is 100% true. But I feel like sometimes for some people,
of course,
it's definitely the monotony of doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah,
that you need a break from, and a break could be in the form of trying something new, and that don't need to be when you're on vacation. Like try to implement those things within your week, in your day, if you can, on your weekends. Like try to do things that are fun because there's a saying that. Create a life for yourself that you don't need a vacation from.
Correct.
And it's hard to do, because ideally most of us are doing a job that maybe we don't even love. Like,
we have to do it
because it pays the bill.
Yeah.
But take control of those little areas in your life where you can
control.
Yeah, where you can control, where you can put in some joy in. Like for example, when you're eating, instead of eating the same old thing, shake it up, do things a little bit different to make your life more interesting. Take out the fancy plates. Don't lock it up in the cupboard or the cabinet or whatever. Eat your fancy plates now.
That's true.
Wear the nice clothes now so you can feel a spark. I don't know about y'all, but when I look good, I feel good. And that helps me tremendously as well. So there's so many different things that can help. So we're going to go through them. So Shako, how do we deal with burnout?
Well, obviously the first thing is recognizing the signs, right? And that's why we want to talk about it.
Big one.
Because, some people really feel fed up with life, and they take drastic things and might be in the habits of getting the habits of the wrong things, right? And that could look very, very different. But sometimes they don't know, why am I feeling this way? So recognizing the signs, that's the first thing, right? And that's why we're doing this show. To acknowledge the feelings of exhaustion. Like acknowledge it. Like it's okay to be tired. Especially as women and moms and stuff like that. If we got time for
woman.
Exactly. Especially, and black women too, especially, we're supposed to be this strong person, do everything, finish everything, and then you come home, like even like working moms, right? They say working moms, you work, if you go to work and you don't work hard, and then you come home and you don't work hard, you're a bad worker and you're a bad mom. You can't do both. You can't do both every day. You can't do both every single day, right? So acknowledge, look, I'm tired. It's okay to be tired. Like I see, like some people feel like if they say they're tired, they, something's wrong with them, right? So we want to move away from that. Decrease in performance, right? Like you're not feeling, you don't want to do it anymore. You're not feeling up to the task, right? So, and as I mentioned, physical symptoms like headache, sleep issues, you can't sleep at night, muscle pain, those are things that affect you physically, right? That is a sign of burnout.
Yes. 100%.
So recognizing the signs, the first thing you want to do to deal with it. The second thing is prioritizing self-care and setting boundaries.
Yes.
Right? So definitely
boundaries is a big one. I don't think people understand how important it is to have boundaries. And be mindful, once you start having boundaries, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to have issues with
we got to do an episode on boundaries.
We do. Definitely.
Yeah, we do have to do it. Big B, boundaries. Right? So definitely prioritize self-care. What does self-care look like, right? It's not being selfish. You cannot, I'm going to tell you to say this. You cannot give from an empty cup. right? You cannot leave yourself undone to help others. It's not going to work because you can't give from nothing.
Absolutely.
Right? So
and people need to realize, and my therapist taught me this, because we just think about a cup. I was thinking this is the cup. You are the cup.
Facts.
You're the cup. The cup is you. So you can, if there's nothing inside of you, how can you give?
Correct.
You gotta
That's
pour
good. That's good.
into you. You gotta fill yourself up, and when from that excess, it flows over into others.
That's
so the more
great.
you fill yourself up, the more you get to give. So the opposite is true. You're thinking by being selfish to yourself, not taking care of yourself, you got more to give to others. No, you're robbing yourself and you're robbing others.
People.
When you're full and you're overflowing, you got so much more to give.
Exactly, and especially with mothers. You know, like you want to leave yourself undone for your kids or whatever, but a happy, healthy mother is the best mother for a child.
Yes.
Right. So if you don't have,
and there's studies behind that.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be full to give to the child. You can't give the child an empty cup. What you giving the child?
Yep.
Right? What you giving the child? So prioritize self-care. Try to get enough sleep. Eat well.
Sleep. That's a big one.
Sleep is important. Sleep is so important. Eat well. Exercise regularly. Right? Little 30 minutes a day ain't gonna hurt nobody. Right? They're gonna help you. They're gonna fix you. Right? Engage in activities that bring you joy. Right? As Kiana mentioned before, you know, like she wants to try different things. She's got creative. So when creative people experience burnout, it's definitely from the monotony because they're so used to or wanting to build something new.
Yeah.
And when they have the same old every day, it's not good. So think about it. Think about yourself. Am I creative? Am I hating because I've been told to do this one thing over and over?
Yeah.
That in itself is burnout. You're being told to do something over and over and over and over.
Yes.
That is burnout because you're not bringing nothing, not creating something new. You're not adding to it, right? So that can cause burnout. So you want to do things that brings you joy, right? Hobbies, like, look at whatever hobbies you like, and if you don't know, guess what you can do. Try different things. Like you can't mention you try pottery. I know a lot of people be like, I want to do this, but I don't know what I want to do. You could try and see.
Especially go on like Facebook. If you're in America, go on like this app called Group. Meet Me. There's so many different ones. Even events. Look for free things if you don't want to spend money. Look for free activities that you can try out.
Exactly. Like just try and if you don't like it, well, you're learning about yourself. I don't like it, so now I don't want to do it anymore. I'm going to find something else to do.
Absolutely.
Right? So go and find hobbies. Spend time with your loved ones as well. You know, spend time with your loved ones. People who make you happy, like, you know, people who bring you joy. People who care for you, right? Because you don't want to spend time with people that keep taking, not pouring back into you, and you just pouring into them. So spend time with the loved ones that makes you happy, that brings you joy. Because sometimes, especially living abroad, you or your loved ones far away. And then sometimes when you meet up with them, you feel so recharged because they brought you so much joy. You feel, you know, you feel a connection that helps a lot. So spending time with loved ones is good. So true. So you want to also establish clear limits between work and your personal life.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, you don't want to take your personal life to work. I'm super against that. Like, I don't like people that are working on my business, nothing, right?
No, facts.
And you know, keep it separate. Keep your personal life separate and keep your work life separate. For me, even if you work from home, I'm a big believer in, if you work from home, get your workspace. Yes. If you're able to, I know sometimes, but at least get a different workspace.
Yes. And I've read this book called Atomic Habits, and he talked about that. Even if you're living in a studio apartment, you don't have to be a room. Get a designated spot.
Correct.
It could be in a corner on the wall over there that you do work. You have to separate it.
Yeah, I think that's super important. You can't work and play at the same place. You know, separate those places. I feel like that's super, super important. Also, when you set your boundaries, just learn to say no. You know, I know no might seem harsh, but you don't even have to say no in a bad way. Just say, you know what, I'm unable to do that.
Yeah.
I'm unable to do that today.
No is a complete sentence.
No is a complete sentence, but especially when you're now starting to say no, you might not be able to be like, no. You might feel bad or harshly. So just say, you know, I can't do that today. I'm unable to do that today. Or no, right? But you could just say like I can't do it today. I'm not up
Yeah.
to it today. If you want to defer it, or I don't have time for that, I'm sorry.
That is so
And
true.
something else that I've learned, my husband and I would talk about this. He talk about putting the monkey. We said put the monkey back on somebody's back. So especially at work, there's this thing called, it's like put the monkey on the back. So basically, is when somebody come to you like, oh, they want you to solve a problem. You could say like, okay, you say, oh Shaka, I need to do this. Let's say this project, right? Put it back on there. Okay, what do you need to do the project? I don't know. We'll find out. And you give them a task to do. It goes right back to them. So
Yeah.
somebody needs help from you. Say, okay, what do you need to do this? Put it right back on them, and then you're free.
That is true.
You're free. Put it monkey back on
Yeah,
back to them.
that's a really good tool, because a lot of times people expect you to like take on their problems.
Full
and to solve it.
problems.
No, and that's something I've had to learn in therapy, especially. My boundaries was non-existent. We're gonna talk about that in a different episode.
All over the place.
All over the place. But, you gotta decide what your limits, like you said, what it is you're willing to do,
Yeah.
and what it is that you're not willing to do. Like in that case, like that scenario, like I'm willing to help you, yes. However, I'm willing to help you. So
Correct.
if you need to do the work as well, and I do that at work as well. Like, don't come to me and be like, just take over this whole thing. Sometimes it may require that, very seldomly, but a lot of times if you expect me to help you, I'm expect you to do the work as well. Like,
Facts.
it is not my job to do that. And in relationships with others as well, I'm willing to be of assistance, but I'm
Correct.
not going to be the person carrying the load. And that's something I've had to learn. And
Yes.
it's a big, once you know the difference and your limits, it's going to really help you.
Exactly, and I agree with that, because I'm a firm believer of teach a man to fish instead of give a fish. Right, I'm a firm believer in that. So helping that person in helping them, taking over the project and helping them, and because we're people that like, okay, yeah, problem, take the whole problem.
Yeah, and some parents do that a lot with their kids.
Yeah, which is a disservice to
Yeah.
them. Like, even when you're teaching your kids, you don't even tell them what you think is the answer. Oh my God, as a teacher, I hate when people like give the answer. You can't give the answer.
Give them a chance.
Give them a
to
chance
figure
to think,
it out.
because you know what that does, and then it's kind of straight up. It ruins their confidence, because in the test you're not going to be there to give them the answer. Let them think for themselves, and if they get it wrong, guide them to it.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's not it. Why you think that's not it?
Yeah.
Right? Guide them to it,
And
because that shots their confidence.
Yeah, and they
And
do that a
ruins
lot,
it.
especially with life skills. Like, I get it. Like, teaching a child how to do stuff, like maybe around the house, is frustrating, because they're now learning how to do
Yes.
it. Have some patience, and
That's beautiful. That's a good one.
Because the older they get, and they have to be confident. You're robbing them of confidence if you're not allowing them to take on their own problems. Like, there's literally studies, guys, about stuff like this.
Yeah,
about
that's so good.
the way that you show up. You sometimes if they have sibling problems, like two siblings, give them time to work it out between each other. If sometimes you may need to intervene, especially
Yes.
if it gets too crazy. But you have to allow kids to figure out things on their own and to
Yeah.
help grow.
Yeah, you can moderate. Like, you can be like, okay, say how you feel. Say how you feel. Like, you can moderate and then let them fix it themselves.
Yeah. I feel like people oftentimes don't have the patience. And
Yes.
they're just ready to get to the solution. And yes, we all want a solution. No, I get it. But, it's important to make sure that the right steps are involved. So, like, they'll, put the monkey back on the other person back. I think it's great, great, great. Because once again, it teaches you your limit. You got to know your limit.
Yeah, and you're talking about they don't have the patience. They probably because they're burnt out. That's why they don't have the patience. So another thing that can help for sure is seeking professional, help and support. We're always going to talk about seeking professional help and having support. Like, talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to a professional, therapists, psychologists, anything, counselors, somebody that has experience with these things. Like, just have some support. Talk about your family. Talk to your family about it. Like, even married couples,
Yes.
Husband feel overwhelmed at work. Sometimes you want to take a break. Got to talk to his wife about it. Talk about his feeling. Talk about how you can help with the load, Wife, same thing. You feeling overwhelmed because when you come home, husband gone in the room, drink a beer, watch TV, done for the rest of the day. Now you gotta cook, you gotta clean, you gotta do everything. You burnt out. Talk to your husband. Talk to your, talk to
Yeah.
everyone. There's some mothers who want to do everything for the kids. The kids big, and they know how to do nothing like you mentioned. Why? You're robbing them of your life, of their learning about life,
Yeah.
and life skills, and then you're robbing yourself,
Yes.
right?
Then they're mad. Like you insist on doing everything. Then you're mad that
When they
nobody
can't
else is helping.
yeah, or when they can't do it, oh, you begging, you can't do this.
Yeah, you gotta teach kids. Kids come into the world, and we're always strong advocates of kids. Not knowing anything, you
I
are
feel
their
people
teacher.
don't know that.
Parents, you are your children's first teachers. You're the one, the primary teacher. You're teaching them about life, teaching them about everything. Teachers in the school are supplemental, like they're secondary, but you're primary.
Yeah, and they're just
You
teaching
have
them
to.
about being educated. That's it. And the teachers
No.
get a lot of people to teach, so don't even think that they're doing more than they're supposed to do because they're already short
Life
staffed.
is more than that. If you want a well-rounded child, you gotta do the work. You gotta put in the work to help them.
Exactly. So reach out to colleagues, and supervisor at work or whatever. And I want to echo this because especially as Black women at work or whatever, a lot of people like to come, or I don't want to say Black women alone, but you're good at your job. You're really good at your job, and they'd be like, hand it to this person. They know how to do it. Especially if you don't get paid for that. You send it right back, give it right back to them, or talk to your supervisors. Sometimes we don't want to ask for help. Sometimes we don't want to ask for help, but just give it a shot. And that could be for various reasons. I'm definitely guilty of that, asking for help, because I'm like, you know what? They ain't gonna do it how I gonna do it.
Yeah.
They're gonna get it right like how I get it. I can just do it myself. Just give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to
Question you
me.
need to ask yourself: do you want it help or do you want it your way? Because if you want it your way, do it yourself. But if
That's
you genuinely
true.
want help, you gotta step back.
Yeah.
And allow that person, whoever it is.
But sometimes you need help.
Yeah.
So then you gotta
You
have it
gotta
done.
choose which one is more important.
Yeah, exactly.
To do it your way or the help.
And you gotta choose what is beneficial for you too at that time, because sometimes we want to do everything, but we can't, and that's just the facts, right? So definitely
Facts.
definitely seek professional help, therapy. Definitely, that helps with coping and recovery. So those are definitely the things. And stay connected with your social connections, like with friends and family, right, to avoid isolation, and participate in community activities. That helps a lot, especially with doing something extra. Even I think, to me, a lot of things that help with burnout is giving back to the community, to being in some kind of nonprofit group or some group that helps the community.
Yeah.
I think that helps with connection. That helps, bring you joy, and you get to socialize and all of those things. I think giving back too does help in that way if you join a group. So I think all of those things definitely, they help with burnout.
Absolutely. And like we mentioned earlier about putting monkey back on someone's back, but simply delegating tasks, whether you're at work or at home, is so important, because once again, it's important to receive that help. You're not superhero, a Superman, Superwoman.
Nope.
Ask for help if you need it. It's a sombering thing to do. You might feel like you can do it all. But it's important to know that you're not an island. It is okay to ask for help. Asking for help does not make you weak. It does not make you lazy.
Yeah.
It just simply means that, hey, I have a lot on my plate right now. Could you help take some of it off? And someone who cares for you will do that. I feel naturally they're going to do that. Even at work. If you're having too much, because in America, there's a thing called silent hiring, whereby you're all of a sudden
Yes.
getting more tasks that are way outside of your pay grade.
That's so good.
You're getting asked to do more, and if that's the case, have a conversation with your manager. Like, I'm willing to go above and beyond, but I feel like lately things has been a lot more than I've expected. I noticed that when there's layoffs or when people leave the company, you're not filling those roles,
Nope.
which means the work falls on me, and I don't think it's right that
Correct.
I'm doing multiple jobs for this, for one, one pay or whatever. So you have your conversation.
Yes.
Go and, put it in a way that make sure that you're not fired, essentially.
Yeah. You don't have to be mean and rude.
Yeah. But, do it in a way that, that is whatever your job is, make sure you tailor it to that. So another thing too is reflect on your goals. A lot of times we feel like
that's good.
This was our goal that we want. Like, for example, growing up, I wanted to be so many different things, and and then you hold on to something, even when you no longer care for that goal. No longer, your life changed, so it no longer suits you. Let it go. It's okay. It's okay. If it's a goal that you truly want, maybe you need to readjust the plan, the steps. But if it's a goal that you really do not care about anymore, let it go. For like some people, some women, all their life they thought like, oh, I have to be a mother. Then they got older and they realized, I don't want to be a mother. Actually, this is not for me. Instead of like holding on and like thinking that you have to fulfill whatever your 10-year-old self thought, let it go. It's okay to revision new dreams and goals for yourself as you are currently. You don't have to, have those old personal and professional goals anchor you around your neck. Like you can adjust. You have the freedom to adjust and change and pivot, and that's okay.
And you mentioned that you're 10-year-old self, and it's what I thought of is, are your goals your goals?
That's true. Society, your family.
Who goals is it?
Yeah, you're gonna grow up. You're gonna be a pilot. You're gonna be a doctor, ma'am. I vomit at the sight of blood. Why do I want to be a doctor? Like, you're taught these things. And I'm like, I cannot do medical stuff. I know personally, for me, it's not for me, dog. I cannot.
What? You're Caribbean and you're not going to be a nurse? How? You're not going to be in the medical field?
I was pushed in that direction. I couldn't do it. It was not for me.
You got to be in the medical field, especially if you're immigrant.
You're going to be in the medical field. And I get it. Stable job.
Yes, good pay. I get it.
I just couldn't do it. I couldn't, And so many people do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, because that's what they were told, that's what they were
and that's another reason why they burnt out. They're in the profession doing it because they were told. Now they don't want to do it anymore because they're creative. They want to go out and create. So
true.
And now they're burnt out.
Yes. If you're creative, trust me, any little thing in life be burning you out because you get bored easily. And I can definitely relate.
Yeah, but don't quit your job. Start with something small. Like get a little hobby.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like for me, my job is in tech, right? But I don't even know how, but yes. But for me, I'm definitely
very
creative.
technical.
Like doing lime and healing, that gives me like a little bit of my creativity, because you're pouring in stuff. I gotta create, I gotta do this, and that fulfills a certain need in me. When I love photography and I take a picture, I'm like, oh, yes, love it.
Yes.
I love all of that, writing, whatever. Like, I do those things outside. So, like Shaka said, don't go quit your job. No. Who's going to pay the bills? Not us.
Disclaimer, we didn't say quit your job.
Find little hobbies. Live every day. Put little things that gives you joy into your day-to-day. So you get home from work, you like going outside in nature.
Yes.
Put on your shoes, whatever, go and take a walk around the block or whatever.
Yeah, that's so, and I love that you mentioned that too, because some people like nature and then even live in nowhere close in the nature.
That is so true.
How are you gonna get some nature? At least go camping, and stuff like that. Like those things, it's important. So all that you really need to look at your goals. Like what's important to you. Like you like seeing nature, you like seeing the green, but you live in a concrete jungle.
Yeah. And even if that's the case and you can't move, go to a park.
Go to a park. Yeah.
Find what you can find. Like we always say, make do with what you have until you can do more.
Exactly.
So
you'll see how much that little helps. It helps. Little helps is a big deal.
Yeah. So definitely another thing you want to do is take breaks. You know, if you have like those 14 days PTO, even though it's 14 days, use them. Use them. Use them.
Fenty. Facts. We ain't piling up PTO. I'm sorry.
Use your PTO. Take a regular breaks throughout your day.
Take your breaks.
Even from your phone. We're in an age of information where prior generations to us did not have this constant barrage of like information.
Yeah.
You're on social media.
Stimulation.
You go through 50, 11 emotions. One post, somebody just got married. Another person, somebody just died. Another person, somebody got baby. Breakup. World ending. War. So many things. Comparison. You go through so many emotions.
That's so true.
And that is a lot on your brain, on your body, on your mind, everything.
That's so true.
Take breaks. So even if you can't take like a physical break to go somewhere, unplug from the world. Like, turn off your phone. If you consume too much TV, turn that off too. Like,
yes, the news.
Do something. Yeah, if you're watching the news 24/7.
Not good.
Anyways.
Take a break from
Take a break from it to recharge, to rest and stuff like that,
Yep.
When last you listen to little music, you just put on little music and you just
dance,
yeah. Vibing. Put on a little bit of music. Music to me fuels the soul. It makes you feel good. Like Bob Marley said, when the music hits, you feel no pain. Like, it's the truth, But the biggest thing you can do is practice mindfulness. And that's something I've had to learn to do.
Okay.
Because
what's mindfulness?
Mindfulness essentially means where you check in with yourself. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you feeling, fidgety. You're feeling burnout.
That's true.
You're feeling all kind of way, right? And then you're like, you're on autopilot because you got so much to do. You work. Take a moment, like, yo, how you feeling today? How you really feeling today?
Yeah.
Take a pause. Take a breath. Listen to what your body's telling you. Listen to what your subconscious is telling you. Being mindful means you're going to recognize when you're burnt out more and quicker.
Yeah.
Because you're checking in with yourself. A lot of us live on autopilot, whereby you just go. You have no down period. This is why some people can't even go to sleep. And I'm guilty of that. When I'm overstimulated, I take a long time to fall asleep because my mind, by the time your body might be tired, but your mind is so
still
active.
going.
And you can't sleep. You're laying down, you toss, you turn, you that. If that happens to you, one of the tips I can recommend, get out of bed. Don't lay there, continue doing that. If you have something to do, like let me say something is worrying you, like you have clothes to fold or something, laundry, go fold the clothes. Don't hop on your phone. Go fold the clothes. Go and do whatever task that is on your mind if you can. If it's something you can do, write it on the paper. Get it out of your head. Pen and paper. It comes out of your mind. Mm-hmm. And lastly, stretch. And we're going to talk about breath work. And I think that's something we can talk about more.
Yeah.
In terms of like breathing. Or breathing is so important.
Good. Yeah.
A lot of times
that's
we breathe
so true.
shallowly from our chest. And if you have anxiety, like us, that's something you have to learn how to do. Breath work.
Breathe correctly.
A lot of times we breathe from our chest. So that means we're breathing extremely shallow. So which can make us feel more nervous, more anxious, more restless and stuff like that. But when you're in those moments and you feel that way, start taking deep breaths from your belly.
So I had to learn. That's so good because I had to learn how to breathe. Like, and that might sound stupid because, you're at somebody like breathe it. So I used to breathe in with my chest, and I'm like, I don't like breathing. I feel stifled. I feel like, and some people are like, oh, I don't like when they do that breathing exercise because I got to. So I thought like, oh God, I can't even do breathing. But then I learned I was breathing wrong, y'all. Yeah. You could believe that? The breath that you're supposed to be breathing all the time, the breath God give you, you're doing it wrong. And I was shocked by that, right? So it requires way more.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. Like, most of us, I think most people breathe incorrectly.
Yes.
That's what we're
like we were talking. Uh-huh.
You have mindfulness once again comes into play where you're actually aware of what's happening. You're not subconscious. You when you're mindful, you realize, oh, my shoulder's tense. Let me relax. Because a lot of times you're like this. Your neck is tense, your arms, then you're like, oh, I'm tense. Let me relax. And you're able to, mindfulness is just making you aware of what's happening in your body, in your life. And the more you practice it, and that's something that takes practice. I ain't no pro. I be forgetting.
Correct.
I be forgetting all my tools many times. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I forget all the time.
But we're talking about breathing, how we should breathe.
But when you're talking about breathing, and I'm going to do like a separate video, a little.
Yeah, I think that's good.
A little mindfulness practice. But when you're talking about breathing, you want to take a deep breath in, fill up your stomach and go all the way in, and then you release it. Sometimes it requires you to release it through your nose, Sometimes it requires you to release it through your mouth. It all depends.
We talked about it this very week about the science behind it, and I was telling you, it's like,
Yeah.
what is
So
the
the
science
science
behind it? Because
behind
she
it-
knows more about mindfulness.
when you do deep breathing, right?
Yeah.
So your nervous system, there's the sympathetic system, there's the parasympathetic system, right?
Very
so
technical.
So when you're nervous, the parasympathetic system is not at rest, because that's where you go into fight or flight mode, meaning that your body is sensing imminent danger, and you're telling you, when you're anxious, it's like telling you, there's
Run
danger, run for
real
your life.
life.
So then your body releases cortisol. That's why your heart starts beating fast. You're shallow breathing because the blood
scared.
goes to all vital organs, and you're just literally in fight or flight mode, like danger. Let's protect ourselves. So when you take deep breaths from the stomach, like all the way in, it sends signals to your parasympathetic system, nervous system, telling it, you're safe, you're fine.
Yes.
Put the AKs back. You're good. No, you don't need to fight. And it basically signals to the body like it's okay. And that's where your heart rate start lowering and all that stuff.
Yeah, so that's why, for me, because when you say take a deep breath, I feel like people don't understand how important it is.
Yeah.
And I learned, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know there was science behind it. She was like, yeah, there was science. I was like, oh my God, this is so good.
I do yoga a lot because, like, once again, those things help me, help with my anxiety and stuff like that. So I feel like whoever is telling people to take a deep breath, they need to explain more.
Yes, why?
There is science. There's like, it's not just taking a deep breath. It's like a whole science. This is why breath work is so important.
Yeah.
You have to master it. So like, even when you're nervous, there's so many breathing techniques that you can look up on like YouTube videos or even Google it. There's so many out there that can help you. So even if you're in a pinch and you're nervous about whatever, or you're just feeling burnout.
Is that what they tell you to breathe during delivery?
I would assume it's to help you.
Yeah, because it doesn't do anything with the birth.
The breathing is basically to help you to be in
control. Exactly.
Because pain can make you levitate into places. So with delivery, they need you to be mindful. They need you to be present. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why they do so. But it is a lot to do with it, guys. But when you practice mindfulness and relaxation, it helps to calm you. Like for me, I know yoga will always be a part of my life. Like I need that, that reminder. Maybe I'll become disciplined enough to do it myself, hopefully. But I like the whole practice of doing that.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think it's good.
So there's so many things that we talked about. Like we talk about how to identify your experience of burnout, and there's so many ways you can experience that. You can feel the restlessness, no joy. There's so many ways that you're just going through life and you're just tired, you're easily irritated and stuff like that. But that's not, all hope is not lost, because there's ways in which you can deal with the burnout.
Correct.
And knowing that you're experiencing burnout, like we need this episode to sink in, because we want you to be more aware of the burnout, so that when you feel it coming on, you can already take your tools and counteract that feeling. Because if you know it and you can identify it as early on, it's better. Like for me, if I know like I'm off my routine, I will be like, you okay? And I'm like, no, I feel terrible. I feel like,
Yeah.
excuse me. I feel terrible.
Bless you.
But then I'm like, okay, if I feel terrible and stuff like that, okay, what do I need to do? All right, girl, first thing first, go take a shower. Take a nice long hot shower.
That helps.
It helps, yeah.
That helps.
Take a shower, get a little routine, maybe eat something good, something nourishing to the body. Go take a walk, a little 30 minutes walk.
Yeah,
something.
take a break.
So it really helps me do that. So we want you to recognize what burnout is. Like the quicker you recognize it, I feel like the more successful you're going to be, in order to treat it. Because burnout is going to happen. Like I feel like we can't run away from that.
Exactly. If you once you're living life, it's going to happen, right? So I feel like, that's why we want to do this episode. So you guys just take a minute, and think about, am I burnout? Like, and when you're feeling it, like what you can do, and there's a lot of different things you can do, as Kiana mentioned, yoga, being mindful, breath work, but whatever calms you down, drinking some tea, listening to some music,
absolutely,
going out, doing some dancing,
I'm sorry,
laughing.
Guys, laugh is a big one.
Yeah, for me, I put on some stand-up comedies. I love to laugh, right?
Yes, it helps.
So stand-up comedies, that helped me with various things in my life. Panic attack, all these different. I'll talk about that, but in another episode. But when I want to unwind, I put on a lovely stand-up, I go to many stand-up shows as well. I go to many. I've been to almost anybody that comes through and I like them, I go. But I check that if I watch them on TV. You don't have to go, but you can watch it on TV. Go on YouTube, get it for free. But have a good laugh, and that's why I think meeting up with people too, it helps, because you're in time, you have a good laugh, you have a good time, you release that, and so you can start again. So thank you for listening to this topic. I know it might be new to some people, because some people don't know what burnout is. It was new to me a few years back, because it's a term that recently came out. There are a lot of books on burnout too. This one I think I read. I should probably recommend it. Burnout for Millennials, I think that's the name. But it was really, really good. But yeah, definitely take a minute, and as Kiana mentioned before, ask your body, what am I feeling right now? I feel that's very, very important. So thank you for listening to us. So what we want to do now is move into another segment called Growing Up Caribbean, whereby we talk about things we experienced growing up, and ask you, the viewers, if you've experienced this and what do you think.
Yes.
So today we want to talk about putting plastic on your chair set or your couch or whatever. Did you have that growing up?
Definitely. There was always plastic on the chair set.
Why did we do that?
I don't know. I don't want a scarcity mindset, but
you're getting real technical, psychological.
I think
emotional.
it's just to preserve stuff. Like, it could be that, they work hard to get their stuff, keeping the plastic on makes it last longer. It could also be climate. Because where we grew up, it was a dusty place. So maybe it's a way to
the small mining town, bauxite. Yeah.
I don't think it's that, but yeah.
You don't think that's the reason? For me, I don't think there's a reason. I think you're right back to the scarcity mindset. Like, you get something nice, and you mentioned this in the episode where, like, you have something, use it.
Yeah.
What? I don't see the point of a plastic on a chair set, because you know how uncomfortable that is.
Yeah,
right? I know that you pay your money for it. And you want to have it for a long time.
Yeah.
I know that people in America, you can't get everything for it. I am sorry, right?
Empty facts.
Like, we don't know. We want to live long lives, but I want to enjoy the life that I'm living. So if I get by a chair, I want to enjoy it thoroughly.
Yeah.
Right? I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna clean it and all of those different things. Because even like learning, like one time I remember spilling like wine on my chair, like and it was like, I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? So I went away and I Googled, and it was like, use I can't remember if it was vinegar or whatever, but it said not to wipe, to blot it. Brand new. And I was like, why didn't they teach us that all this time? I just blotted, and everything it looked brand new. And I'm like, there's like things you can do, right? Instead of preventing your use of the chair set.
Back then they did not know.
That's true, right? But now we know.
So if you're still covering your chair set, side eye, I'll give it a pass for the back in the days.
I didn't even want to sit
especially
on
with people
plastic.
who had kids. I could understand why they would put on plastic, because once again they preserve their stuff, because it's not like things were relatively cheap. Things are cheaper now in the sense that
it's true.
Quality wise has gone down. And all that stuff. So you can go out here and get a couch for $300 or whatever. But people spend a lot of money.
I see people with plastic right now, though.
Maybe the chair set is from back in the days, because that's crazy.
We don't gotta keep. Anyway, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
We don't gotta keep everything.
No, I agree. I'm a firm believer of using your stuff. Who knows? I buy a new outfit yesterday. Today I'm wearing it. I'm aware.
I might let it marinate a little longer, but
marinate on me.
yeah, but honestly, it was so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it was so uncomfortable.
If the place was hot, then you sit down with your shower pants, burn up your legs because the plastic hot. But nope. This has been the end of our episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. We hope, if one thing we hope you take away from this episode is that you're able to identify when you burn out so that you can, counteract that feeling, because the sooner you do it, the better. It is not a feeling you want to keep dwelling in day after day.
Yeah,
like you want to be able to do the work to ensure that your body and your mind is at rest as much as you can, because burnout is certain especially in the day and age in which we live.
That's true.
So we hope that you've gotten something from this. Please give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, share with your loved ones. I'm sure someone in your contacts list could use this message. So please,
yes, that's true,
share it with them. And please subscribe. If you have not done so, please subscribe. If you do not have a YouTube YouTube account, sign up. It's free, guys. Like, your support helps us, keep doing this, and also to help us to get our names out there more so that we can help more people, essentially.
Yep.
But yeah, we thank you so much for your support. Please follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Lyman and Healing. Our handle is the same on all platforms, okay? So until the next time, remember to
bust a lime. See you next time.